Hey, what is up, everyone? It is Rich. All right, welcome to The Art of Dishonored 2. This was actually requested during Super Fun Sunday, and two of my favorite concept artists, Sergei Kolosov and Peter Jablonski, worked on the art of this excellent video game, and I was more than happy to do a dive. I would highly recommend that you check out both artists' art station. Sergey has gone a lot of different directions with his work, and was very, very influential. God, man, like 10 years ago, but he went a very different route with his art. Route. A little bit later, he's still excellent, but he had this thing going on. God, it was a long time ago that really was just so incredible. So we'll just get right into it and start looking at the art and the book and enjoy it. Let me. I need to. Kind of was previewing some of the images really quick. Most of the pages will have artist credits. I'm not 100% sure who this is. This just doesn't look like either artist that I was just referring to. It's a nice piece, though. Solid, very good structure on the face itself. I love video games. I love video game art. I don't have time to play video games and haven't in a long time, at least 5 or 6 years. So it's kind of one of those things where I hope at some point in my life I'm able to get back into it and actually play a little bit. I'm terrible at games, though, to be honest. I mean, compared to like great gamers, but it's still fun for me. So this is published by Dark Horse, I believe. Yeah, Dark Horse reprinted it. Mike Richardson is the publisher. I mean, really cool that they do this. They've done quite a few art of books, and they're all excellent. So I'd highly recommend them. And let's get into this. This is pretty cool. You know, in particular for people that are interested in doing comic books and maybe want to do something creator owned, these books really are a goldmine of not only inspiration but sort of direction. You don't have to get as in depth as these creative teams do. I mean, you've got many artists working on this stuff for like full-time jobs for months and months and months. So to be one person and create this much content to sort of previs your book might be overkill, but at the very least it can give you ideas of how to start to cobble together your ideas and then pick through that and find your best ideas and things that start to make a look or a vibe. You've heard Kelsey and I talk a lot, in particular towards the end of the last Super Fun Sunday. There was a really good conversation we had. But, we're both pretty, what would you call it? Like, we have a lot of experience. We have the ability to draw in a lot of different styles and work in a lot of different styles. And that can cause problems in some ways because you almost have too many options. It's like, should it be cartoony? Should it be more realistic? Do I want a lot of, grit? Or do I want, clean? And you can almost seize up just based on your options. So, I mean, it's not, there's worse problems that you can have, but it can still be a problem. This is pretty cool. Some of this is, we'll call it photo bashed or, put together, and it's photos and, brushes that can create texture really fast. So, I mean, for a traditional artist, you may not be able to achieve this exact look. That's not really the point of this stuff. This is to get your imagination bustling with, like, cool ideas and color palettes, and I just think it's just fun stuff, I don't go into this militant that has to be, this is definitely Peter. I'm guessing, but I have a tutorial that I actually bought off of his Gumroad where he paints, it's like a courtyard, but some of these techniques look right out of it, and the color palette too is very similar. But Peter is great. Peter is a great character artist too, but his environments, and he did some stuff with like Elric. Holy Jesus, it's so good. It's so epic. He really, for a couple of years, was probably my favorite artist in terms of like a new discovery. It's always difficult to have like a favorite artist, although, you know, sometimes you do, but as time moves on, you'll accumulate more. And these are Pitor. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. This is pretty cool. I like this building. Yesterday, I sent Kelsey a breakdown of. We were talking about doing black and white stories, like a book that would come out maybe two, 3 times a year. That would have a new series that would be black and white, and I sent him how I approached coming up with the concept for mine. Not that he didn't need it and didn't ask for it, but I showed him sort of my process of working something out. But one thing you can do is you can literally just start to make lists of broad sweeping things. Is it going to be a fantasy story? Is it going to be, you know, post-apocalyptic? Is it going to be a dystopian future? Is it just superheroes in modern day? And it's not even about picking the one that you want. You can also come to the conclusion by eliminating what you don't want to do. So I was telling him that you know, people see the end result and they think that like, oh, I picked that idea. When I decided I was going to do a comic book, I went like, I'm going to do this, and this, and this is how I came up with the story. For me, it was a combination of I came up with the title first, which is really unusual, but then I just would write down like, you know, is it a single character book? Is it multiple characters? Is it a team? And I went like, okay, I definitely don't want it to be this, and this. And it really started to narrow down exactly what I did want to do. So it was an interesting way of approaching it, kind of backwards, but it worked. But when I was lucky enough to see Wildstorm create the DC MMO. And even work on the first Arkham Asylum game, which was the big one. They didn't really get credited for as much work and design as they did. In particular, Carl Stienda on Arkham Knight, I guess was the first big Batman game. He did a lot of the art in that and character designs. But it was a tremendous amount of work, and those guys were grinding on that for a couple of years. You know, it was like you literally have to draw everything. So, you know, things like maps might be important in your comic book story. Or if you want to, maybe you have a comic book story that you even want to be a video game. I had notes to myself on one of the photos that I sent Kelsey, and it was referencing things like that. I don't like go into a comic book going like, oh, I want it to be a movie, but I have to tap into what inspires me and the things that could come out of a really good comic book that get me just as excited about drawing the comic as the story itself, you know? Man, this is great. Fuck. What a nice digital painting. Man, that is good. Colors are great, too. I just love stuff like this so much. That is really, really cool. You just want to explore this. I mean, it's if you're gonna have backgrounds like in your comic book, make it be something that the person reading the comic just goes, man, I want to go down this staircase and see what's down here. I want to go around this corner. Is this like a balcony or is this a dead end? Create excitement and anticipation, and you know, that is really cool too. Yeah, hopefully this video is inspiring. I want to get you guys fired up, guys and girls, fired up to draw, create. Wow, that is cool too. It was funny. I was thinking about. I wanted to throw a piece of, or like I wanted to have like a villain that was into taxidermy. I think it's just creepy, you know, like if you had to talk to someone in a room and the whole room is just filled with like dead stuff. It's kind of like it creates a level of intensity that's kind of neat. Man, this is great too. Wow. Beautiful colors. Whoo, that is nice. Man, that is great. All right, let's continue, friends. We won't be able to get through this whole book. I just wanted to give you guys a taste of it. I'm going to try to keep this video at about 30 minutes, so whatever we can do in 30. Yeah, the floor is great, too. It's interesting because this color palette still feels quite fresh to me, but sometimes you'll go back and look at old art of video. Like this looks a little dated to me. It's not a bad piece. It's just like the colors feel kind of early 2000s. You think so too, Kitty? Okay. She's playing with the Easter egg, like one of those plastic eggs. She brought it in and was telling me that she's killed the Easter egg and she's sacrificing it to me. This is my gift. What I like about Kolosov and Peter is they actually have pretty cartoony figures. They're not only great environmental artists, but they actually are really good with like figures and create a very cool sort of aesthetic. I don't know how much we'll see that in this book that when we get to the character stuff. This is all the environments, not all, but you know what I mean. Like that's what this is focused on. This is a nice looking room too. More taxidermy. Ah, this is cool. It's interesting. I think because in my mind I've bonded two things, which was video games and comic books. My interest in video games is how I got into comic books. And so the two are very intertwined in my mind. And I love the idea of adventure, and I love the idea of the exploration that the viewer of a comic book gets to experience. So it could be different than someone who's maybe drawing comics based on comic stories, or someone who does comics because they want to do movies. But a lot of video games try to be movies, but I you know, I don't know, you know, if that will give my work like a slightly different flavor. It's hard to say. This is really cool. But yeah, games like Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy. Ah, man, then so many other ones that I watched, like walkthroughs of Badlands, Mass Effect, Dead Space, Gears of War. Oh my gosh, so many. Oh, dude, this is crazy. This reminds me, it was funny, is I saw these images, and it reminded me of The Memory of Memories, the Katsuhiro Otomo art of book. If you don't have that, I would highly recommend it. It's still pretty affordable. You can get it for between about $30 and $65. But if you've not seen Memories, the Otomo film, it's 3 short movies. I highly recommend it, but then beyond that, I would highly recommend the art of book. The Memory of Memories. It is so good. Man, this is great stuff. Wow. Man, that is so cool. Wow, it's crazy. She's very short. Like, her upper body and the length of her arms. I mean, that's not really the point of the drawing, but yeah, from her hips to her legs, she's like a dwarf or something weird. The proportions are really off, but this is wild. This looks like, is it wash? Like ink wash? Damn, that's crazy. God. It just looks like a nightmare to do. You would have to control your values so good. I mean, it could really get away from you if you weren't paying attention and didn't have a strategy of like what level, what like value of gray you were going to use for each thing. He he or she, whoever did it, kept it pretty consistent. If you look, the base color of the stairs, like the top stair, is all consistent, and then there's just a little bit of texture, and then the shadow is kind of one color. It gets a little dark right there, but yeah, they definitely had a plan in place to pull it off. This is like a darker wall, so it's a darker base color, but it's really, really well done. Oh my god. The hell is going on with the roof? It gives, I don't, I guess these are hanging down? Man, that's crazy looking. Would not want to ink that. I wouldn't want to draw it, honestly. I like detailed stuff, but that is that's a lot of work. It's really, like, it's a great drawing, too. It would be a pain in the ass in terms of perspective to keep that all hanging in there. Because you've got the actual roof itself, and then this hanging object, and then this sort of plane where the lowest hanging part is. It's got its own sort of, you know, has to sort of, they all have to sort of fall on it. Some get a little bigger, but it's really well done. It's great drawing. Damn. Like he turned the table just a little bit. Well, it's kind of, the perspective actually kind of curves just the tiniest bit. Let me grab my pen really quick. Brush. You can kind of feel it, like it almost kind of sweeps in a little. It's not like massively, but there's a little bit of that vibe going on. It's really, really nicely done. I initially thought that he had just turned the table, but then when I started looking at stuff, it's like the artist was definitely trying to give a sort of almost like a cyclonic sort of pull. Oh, this is nice. And then we get this. God dang. I don't know who is putting the washes on this, but they are crazy. Oh my god. That is nuts. Oof. And that's just for a concept. That's the craziest thing. So I'm saying it's a tremendous amount of work. I mean, you honestly, like, I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you were gonna use them in your comic book or something like that. Because this is like, man, this is great though. Beautiful, beautiful drawing. And then this looks like Encanto. Man, that is so good. Jeez. This is blowing my mind. The lighting down here is beautiful. Holy. Now I'm not going to want this book to end. Oh, wow, this is great. This looks like Peter. Let me see. Yeah, it is Peter. Peter. I always thought it was Peter. This is how you spell his name. Piotr and then Jablonski. But when I did a video that spotlit him, or a video called like my favorite concept artist, one or the other, but people were telling me it was pronounced Peter. Peter is really good. Wow, this is so cool. This almost looks like a 3D model, but it may not be. Definitely parts of it are painted. He does really great rocks. Wow, that's cool too. Damn. You just want to go and explore that, right? It's like Alcatraz, but like not. Like it has almost a little bit of like a Greek. Well, it's weird. It's got contemporary architecture. The patio to me looks like it could almost be Comic-Con. It's like got almost like an atrium vibe with these rounded things. Like you could picture maybe when it was nice, it would have had glass. So that doesn't, I guess that could be where the prisoners exercise. This looks more like a prison. And then some of this top architecture and these arcs look a little like Greek or Roman to me. So it's an interesting combination of aesthetics. And this feels kind of contemporary too, this architecture right here. But you have to, you know, I'm not patting myself on the back for like my observation skills on this. I didn't draw this stuff. I'm just like pointing out stuff, and my observations could even be inaccurate. This looks a little modern too, or but you have to start to get sensitive to that stuff and be able to, you know, it's like your toolbox. You're building like licks and riffs in your mind, which are these ideas. You know, this reminds me of British architecture, like pre World War II, the factories and stuff like that. So again, it's got like that's different, but then this has a little bit of a different vibe. This looks like it could even be modern architecture a little bit. So, and this is great. The front of this is really cool. But yeah, you know, you want to be able to observe the stuff, be able to maybe identify it. You don't. I mean, I don't sit and try to do this when I do videos, and this has a little bit of a Spanish feel to it. But imagine now you're sitting and drawing and you're trying to create stuff. You kind of need to have sort of like a you know, an encyclopedia set of ideas in your head. So observing is really, really important. And then I guess some critical analysis, possibly. Here's some Pitor. I recognize this shit right away. Wow, it's really cool. Man, that's creepy. Look at that. Wow. Damn. Oh my god. We may just have to look at this whole book. I don't know. I'm like, I don't want to stop. I think it'll go way too long though. But people that are into it will be into it. Oh my god, this is so good. The sense of space in this is excellent, and this like little bit of destruction in the black right here really makes it nice. And then his light is so good. These are super loose, but it's nice. Nice colors, nice drawings. We'll go through this fast because we got so much to look at. All right, we'll hustle through the ones that are a little more. Oh man, look at that! Looks like Pirates of the Caribbean. Hell yeah! Oh my god! I want to live in this world. These guys are crazy. They look like bad guys, like business guys that are corrupt. Bankers and sort of the movers and shakers. Maybe I'm projecting. Oh, this is really cool. He really pulls the angle too on this quite a bit. I mean, it's a 3-point perspective kind of thing going on, but I mean, he really has the buildings at like a skewed angle. It looks fine though, you know. It's fantastical, so it looks really, really cool. More educated people could probably talk about like the focal length or whatever. I don't really know any of that stuff. And the trees up here are actually very cool too. But yeah, there may be like a camera setting or something that gets like that look. Ah, this is really cool. Oh, I remember these guys. Hold on, let's check this out. This is definitely Peter. I'm sorry. Old Habits. That's really, really cool. This stuff. He showed, it might not have been, I wasn't this exact piece, but I remember on his art station he had some creepy guys like this, but man, they're really cool looking. God, it's so good. It's quite a world that they've created, right? Wouldn't you agree? I wonder if the it's like, did the game like? Well, I guess people that would play the game, you know, if a million people played the game, I'm sure most of them aren't artists, so they just go in and enjoy it for what it is. But this is cool. Built on vestiges of. I really not 100% sure what these are. If they're like little 3D models. They're really cool looking. Reminds me a little bit of like 3D Studio Max or kind of like something like that. It could be Maya. Yeah, those are cool. Man, and they may even use something else now. I mean, those are the two pretty old school like 3D model programs. This is cool. I like this color in here, this like little warm area. God, it's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful work. The cools up here. Oh man, it's so nice. Isn't it atmospheric? God, it's great. I like the chair knocked over too. That's a nice touch. I didn't notice that first. And a harp? Oh, like they get entertained. This is an interesting room. This almost looks like a bed. But it kind of also looks like just sort of like a chill spot where you could sort of like a waiting room, but a little fancy. This is nice too, man. God, I would love to have a room like that in my house. This is cool with the grating here too. It's kind of interesting. I'm just gonna shut this. Oh yeah, I remember these. There was it a banking commercial that had stuff like this? It was a long time ago, but I remember it was like kind of apocalyptic. It's funny because it sort of reminds me of here. He shared this on his art station. I've definitely seen this piece before. It's very, very cool. Colors are great. Very creepy. These rusty umbers. Like a little burnt sienna or something in there. Man, it's great. Great, great, great. Oh yeah, look at that. God. Yeah, when I see world building like this, it really gets me excited to draw. Now, for you, you may have different things that sort of fire you up, but I see stuff like this, and I immediately just, like, it really, really gets me excited about drawing and being creative and, you know, coming up with my own things. This is pretty interesting with this paint bucket. Characters and creatures. All right, here we go. So this is Sergey. I would not, if I saw this, I would not actually think that this is Sergey. Like, it's not recognizable as his work, but that doesn't really mean much. But these look a little bit more like Sergey's old stuff. It's got workers' hands. Look like my hands. Pretty cool. He looks a little like Marlon Brando. Those are nice. I like how high-waisted they all are. Like, they all wear their pants up. Surprised. The boots are great, too. God, it's good. Shut that. Here, we'll give the artist credit really quick while we're here. So we've got Julian, David, Laurent, Vincent, Peter, Amy, Sergey, Elodie, Lucy, Jean-Luc, Nicholas, Cedric, Mateo, Jeffrey, and Thomas, and then some special thanks. But yeah, seriously, mad props to all of you. You freaking insane. Blowing my mind. It's cool that they do these books so that the artists do get a little bit of sort of credit, because they're always under NDAs, so they can't really show the work. And sometimes, you know, a really good artist will end up working on something for a couple of years and really not be able to ever show the work sometimes. So nice. I like the ears. I've been playing with different ear positions and stuff like that. But they're funny, like the sticking out so much, but it looks cool. it creates a nice silhouette for the head. Oh wow, cool. Yeah, that's nice painting. Jeez, she looks crazy. Her hand, kind of a line decker hand. She's got lipstick like smeared on her thing. She's all crazy. Crazy old people. You know what? Honestly, thinking about this right now, Peter or Sergey shared some of this stuff online years ago, and it definitely inspired Blaster Kid. Some of these old people, maybe not this exact piece, but remembering now, honestly, like I would definitely say that was the catalyst for the idea of not maybe not exactly the idea, but that in Blaster Kid's world, it's basically old people, and she's the last young person living, as far as she knows, at least where she's from, like the nation that she's in. That they've literally gone through all the young people throughout the war. They've all been killed, and she's the last one. So it's a bunch of people like this running the show and trying to save their own asses. Blaster Kid, last kid. Nice boots. It's cool. Looks like Blaster Kid's dad. That's funny. I've never seen this before. I'm half kidding, but it's kind of close to like what Blaster Kid's dad looks like. Like I said, I've never seen this book before, and most of the stuff they never showed online. I'll point out any of the pieces that I've seen. Oh, this is cool. That's great. God, it's so good. This is interesting. When I see this mask, it kind of reminds me of oh, what's it called? Death Stranding. It's not the same mask, but the gold kind of is making me have a little bit of like a Death Stranding vibe. Man, this is some cool shit. Oh, we're at 9:30. Shit. I'll go 10 more minutes, but I need to wrap this up. We'll start to hustle a little bit. Believe me, I would like to look at the whole thing, but I got to get to work. It's really cool. Like this, colors. That's really wild. It's always crazy when people like dapple the skin like that. I mean, in Photoshop or Clip or whatever painting program you're using, you might be able to do it a little bit quicker than traditionally, but it's still a lot of work. Man, it's beautiful. We'll just go backwards so I don't have to keep, and then I can go into full screen mode, and we can knock this out quicker. That way we'll maximize our time. This is nice. This is pretty cool too, actually. Oh man, look at that. That's epic. This kind of painting always reminds me of John Berkey, sci-fi artist, but that sort of chiseled. There's another artist that I like named Herb Ryman who worked for Disney. But you'll see, like, comic book fans will have seen this stuff maybe with someone like Bill Sienkiewicz, where it's like that chippy kind of painterly thing. But there's a lot of artists that outside of comics that have explored it. Oh yeah, this is fucking great. I didn't realize this was in here. This is Petor. Oh my god, this piece is so badass. I didn't realize that this was actually from the game. So I'd seen that. I've seen this owl piece too. This is great. The birds. Man, it's so good. Have I seen this? Yeah, I've seen this. This is beautiful. God, man. I might use that as my desktop. That is great. Oh, God. Look at that. This right over here is beautiful, too. Man, it's so good. Jeez. You know, it's insane, too, because, you know, of course, this is a digital painting, but, God, oh, these are so good. Okay, I didn't realize this was in the game. Man, this shit is fire. This is all in his art station. I've seen this. God. But yeah, this was some of the inspiration for Blaster Kid. The book, the comic doesn't really look like it, but when I saw this type of work, this was the kind of atmosphere I was kind of hoping to get, like, out of my pen and ink. Very difficult to achieve in lines. All that gray, you know. But, like, psychotic, you might say. That's so creepy. Oh yeah, these I've seen. I've definitely seen this one. Oh my god, it's so good. Yeah, it's like fine art. It's like fine art, but super weird. But man, I can't even imagine owning like an oil painting that was like this, but that like, it would be so cool. It's great too. Oh, look at these guys. These like white apes. This is pretty cool. There's a Japanese artist that I have a book of. I don't know if I have it in my office right now. I don't think I do. Do I? I don't see it. But uses colors like this. Oh yeah, I've seen some of this. Yes, it's Sergei. So again, you could see how experimental Sergei got, because Sergei, way back, didn't. He had a cartoony style, but man, he got into some really crazy shit. It became very stylized. I was following his Patreon for a while. He would do like whips, or you know, like show his process. It's pretty interesting. Man, it's so good. Well, I'll tell you what, this video got me very inspired. Holy cow. But it's like, it's intimidating because these are the best of the best, man. Oh, this is so good. God, man, that is great. Oof. Some more P-Tor. I definitely have seen this piece. Oh man, it's creepy. He looks alive though, because there's like some torque on his feet where it doesn't feel like a dead person that the feet would be relaxed. The fact that they're up shows that I think the person is probably alive. But yeah, these are cool. I love this, like the husks, sort of like the, I don't know what you call it, like when they create like their honeycomb kind of vibes. This reminds me a little of, what was it, Bioshock? I can't think of was it the second or third game? I actually own that one. That was probably one of the last games I played. Close. I bought a few games after that, but I didn't really get to play them as much. No, that couldn't have been the last game I played. Ah, that's so cool. It's upside down, too. Let's rotate it for a second if we can. Damn. That is not good. Ooh, look at this. It's a great piece. Man, that is nice. And again, the attention to detail on the boots and stuff like that, the shoes, so cool. It's always a sign of someone who cares when they will go the extra mile to actually design footwear. It sounds corny, but like all those little, just that little push for something stylized This just really is good. Like you can see where the sole of the shoe has been like hammered in with the little nails. This is great. Oh yeah, I've seen this. So it's interesting. They were able to show a little bit of this work online. I mean, this game came out a while ago, but oh, this is really good. Oh yeah. This is the cover of the book, but kind of more the full piece all at once. This is cool. I think one of these was used as like a promo, or I remember them sharing it online, and it was going to be like an ad or something like that. Maybe it may be even a third piece that's sort of tied into this. Oh, this is great. I've seen this. Man, that's cool. God damn. The bee's knees. Oof. Look at that. Holy shit. Petor on this one. Well, hopefully these guys will get some follows from this if you don't know their work and you're vibing on this, because I sure am. This was just what the doctor ordered this morning. Although, like I said, it's a little... It'll get you because they're so good, you know. They're the best of the best, and so, you know... takes a while to work up to this level. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up because I really do need to get to work, and I've got a lot to do today. So hopefully you all are well. Some of you may have even watched Kelsey's live stream. I mentioned this before, and I attempted a few weeks ago to do a video where I looked at a book and was actually in the video, meaning that like you almost had like a sub screen with me, like kind of so you could see me while we were looking at the art. It really wasn't working out well, and so my other option was I thought, well, I could do these types of videos live and we could do the chat, but I don't want to mess up Kelsey's live streams in the morning. So what I might do is I might go live after him, like at 10:30 in the morning West Coast time. I think that's about when he's done, 10 something around then, and do an hour myself. So for people interested in that, I just, like I said, I didn't want to affect his, where you got two people live stream at the same time that are, kind of working together. It doesn't make any sense. So I'll play it by ear. Like I said, it was something that was an idea I had a few weeks ago, so he's already got his thing going, so I don't want to encroach on it. I'm like, I don't want to stop. Oh, these are cool. Man, that's awesome. Beautiful game. Beautiful, beautiful designs for this. It's just so good. Raised a high bar, I don't know if there's a third game, but if there is, boy, I'll tell you what, it better be designed nicely, because this is delightful. I love this kind of stuff. So cool. God, so much work. Can you imagine? Some of this might be like in BioShock as an example. They had like museums and stuff they could go into that would have like all this weird sort of ephemera from the time frame that they were doing. It was really, really cool. But okay, I love you all. Have a great day. I really, really do truly hope that was inspiring to you, or at least kind of got you fired up about something creative. There's a lot of good shit in here, man. Whew. The Art of Dishonored 2. I think this book is 6 out of 5 stars. Goes above and beyond. And if you made it to the end of the video, then I have a hunch that you kind of think so too. Sorry, have a great day. It's getting sunny outside. I haven't seen the sun in days. So, all right, talk to you later. Bye.